Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, got it.
Hello, is this recording?
Yeah.
Okay, finally here.
Hey.
Hey, yeah, it's quite nice actually doing it not live because it doesn't, but yeah, that's good. So we're going to talk about our top tips. You're going to handle nutrition today and I'll handle training for someone that's starting at the gym or starting a new workout program, and what we can do to support that and to help that. So yeah, I feel like I've gone back. You're in the gym now as well, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it actually feels really good. Because being at home, there's only so much you can do, but being in an actual gym, like more equipment, things like that, it feels nicer.
Yeah. Yeah. I went back to the gym like 2 days ago and I like it. I think it's just nice going somewhere different, but out of the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy though being able to just go downstairs and be like, yeah, I'm going to work out. And then, because like with going to the gym, I can see how it can be a barrier to some people because like I walk to the gym, but it's like 20 minutes. So 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. That's like 40 minutes without even being in the gym. So it's like taking it around your day. So but I think this live is actually quite, like, resonates with me at the moment because I'm nutritionist. I know the basics about training, but I don't have a training, like haven't gone through the course or anything like that. So I'd be generally quite interested, like, to hear from a personal trainer perspective, if going back into the gym, what are your tips? Like, what would you be the first things to recommend for people to focus on when they get into it?
Yeah. And I feel like this is at the perfect time for me as well, because I haven't been training in the gym all year and we're now in October. Best PT ever, haven't been training in the gym, but life happens. I've been training at home. So I do feel like a beginner again because I've lost so much strength and lost everything and had to really pull everything back to basics. And almost like when I was writing down like the points that I wanted to make today, I was actually like just saying them to myself as well, because you have to like keep reaffirming, because I was like, this is what I would tell someone because it's the truth and what is going to help. And it's like, I need to tell myself that. So my first thing was, the main thing, however many sessions you think you can do in a week, knock one off. Like, go less is like more in a way. Like, as in, I know realistically I could probably train 5 times a week. I haven't been. I've scaled it back to 4, and that works so much better for me, because then I know I can definitely get the 4 sessions in. So if you're someone that thinks, oh, I could at a push train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, don't do it at a push. Have 2 sessions. If you hit your 3rd, that's your bonus session, then that's great. But just aim for less and do that consistently over time. Because there's nothing, sometimes as well, you'll say, oh, I'm going to do 5 sessions. You do 3, and then you feel shit about only doing 3, but you've trained 3 times that week. That's a win. But you just disregard it because you didn't do
5
as many. Exactly. And definitely schedule your workouts. Treat it like an appointment. I say that all the time, but actually be like, I'm going to do it at this time, and look at your diary and when is best for you. So if you know, like, you're groggy in the mornings, like you're not a morning person, you work better in the evenings or whenever, like, look at when your energy is at its best throughout the day and work out when that training would be best for you then. So just when it fits you, because you know how you said about it takes you 20 minutes to walk there and 20 minutes to walk back. That's great because you enjoy that, but some people might not enjoy that, and already that's such a barrier because you're like, it's going to take me a 20-minute walk to get there. So like, you're making it harder for yourself sometimes. But so maybe it could be like, oh, I'm going to go, maybe the walk is on the way to the supermarket and you need to go to the supermarket after. So on that day you train before you go, so you can walk there.
You can even drive. Like, I just choose to walk. Like, I could.
Of course, but just like
just
everyone's different, so make it as easy as possible. And the second thing, so if you are going into the gym for the first time, I do get it. It can be intimidating. So you don't feel like you have to do everything at once. You have to use all the equipment because it's there at once. Like, the basics work. So if you want to go into the gym and just start with the dumbbells, you can get a really great workout in just with the dumbbells until you build up a bit more confidence to maybe ask someone, oh, how do I use this machine? Or how do I use that? Or could you help me in the squat rack? And another thing is, if like people are happy to help you, so ask them. And if they're not happy to help you, then they are a dickhead, so ignore them. Like, anyone that isn't like not our kind of people, so try not to let that get to you. Like, just ask someone. But yeah, so I would say start with the basics. If it's too overwhelming trying to use all this equipment, you don't need to use every single piece of equipment in your workout. And something that I do personally, like myself and for clients, is if you can train 4 or less times a week, stick to full body. Don't do any upper and lower splits. That's not because it's bad or anything like that, but it's just, if you're only training like 3 to 4 times a week, you want to make sure that we're hitting all those muscle groups. So say if you were to do like an upper day and then a lower day, and then you skipped one day because you couldn't fit it in because of work, and by the end of the week you've only trained upper body once, you haven't really hit them. Again, it's all better than nothing, but there's a better way to train. Whereas if you say just 3 full body workouts a week, if you haven't got a trainer, that's, not everyone can have a trainer, so that's fine. So how do you work it out? Like, if you were to do 2 or 4 sessions, I personally, so say I train 4 times a week, I do a full body push, full body pull, rest day, full body push, full body pull. So literally think, like, you don't have to be a PT to just think of any movement of a push. So if you've got push, you've got chest, you've got shoulders, overhead pushing. I always put squats in that because I think then push away from the floor. Bulgarian split squats. For your pull day, again, any pull movement. So you've got back, biceps, because you're pulling the weight up, deadlifts, pull the weight up. So you can Google all of this. So the answers are there, and try and do that so you're hitting as many muscle groups each workout. So at the end of the week, you've just really worked every area of your body. How do you do your splits?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, being back at uni, it's so true how you said, like, think how many you can do and then knock one off, because I was originally like, okay, I'm going to do 3 full body workouts. Ended up, at the moment, I've only been able to do 2. But again, that's absolutely fine because it's a transition. I'm at uni now doing like other things, like training is a priority, but it's not like I'm training. I don't have a specific training goal. I'm just doing it to keep what I've got, and just because sometimes I enjoy it. Like, it's a good thing to have, and it's part of my routine, whatever. So I do, at the moment, it's just like twice a week. And the way that I do it, because obviously, again, I'm not a personal trainer, but I know like the core like movements, like squats, deadlifts, press ups, like pull and chest press. So I work my workouts around like core, like, what's the word, like full body, but just like the main movements.
Like your compound lifts, your main
lifts. I focus on like compound lifts, and then like accessories or like adjustments of those. So instead of just a squat, I do like a Bulgarian split squat as well, and then like core work on the side of that. And I quite like to do supersets just because time, like
even giant sets, trisets, like 3-4 exercises, just do it, and don't overthink what you're supersetting together.
I just
in the beginning, like for basics when we're starting, like if I will just do, sometimes if I just want to get in and out, I'll do I'll do my squats and I'll just pair it with my overhead press, because I can just bang out my squats into my press. Like, don't, because you're there's so many things you can go into in details, which is obviously like I do love and I geek out about, but really just the basics win throughout. And like, I know from, like I said, I haven't been able to train this year how I have done in the past. And I don't think the only actual exercises I've done since January is a squat, a deadlift, a chest press, like sometimes bent over rows. And because I've been with dumbbells, I haven't had a cable, I haven't had anything, so it's only been bent over rows. And then like lunges. Maybe like I'll do lateral raises, nothing like, I haven't done any hip thrusts. I'll always do a hip thrust, but nothing like, no with the cables, no like leg extension, like nothing, no leg extensions, no like curls, nothing like that. And it doesn't really, I don't think you can tell much of a difference.
No,
like, I think it is because I'm just training for health and to
exactly,
maintain.
It's quite easy to think that you have to be doing like really fancy things, but the beautiful thing about training is that it's all the same like movements. It goes back to the original squat. It's just variations of doing that squat. Like it doesn't have to be fancy, but obviously the more experience you get and the more specific your goal becomes, or that's when you can start thinking, okay, what can I tweak to make it more effective? But if you're just starting out and it's just something to do for your health, like again, it's just the basics really, like doing things you enjoy, obviously, focus on the core moves, and you should be good.
And I think, yes, do what you enjoy. Like I support that 100%, but also you can do the same thing like each time. And it's not like when I've done 4 sessions a week, my full body push is like the same twice a week. So I'll do like my push day, my pull day, rest, and then I'll repeat that. So I've only got 2 different work. Like now I'm quite good because I just enjoy it and I just get on with it. And I don't find that boring. I appreciate some people might, but when you really break it down, if you're only training for 40 minutes a day and you're repeating that twice a week, I don't know, how bored can you get? Like it's not, surely that's not, I don't know, it depends, like everyone's different, but I think if you've got like some music on, put your headphones in, get out, do it.
I feel like with that, like it is a good thing. Like you don't have to keep changing, and it's probably ineffective to keep changing what you're doing because you're not repeatedly hitting those same muscles and there's no like strategy, so it's not as effective. And like progressive overload, isn't it, as well? Like you could be doing the same session but maybe adding a weight or like adding a few kilograms on or doing a few more reps to make it harder, so you are seeing progress. But isn't it like, again, I'm not a trainer, but isn't it like you want to program it in like chunks, so you kind of do the same thing for a few weeks and then after like 2 months maybe change it up again, just like re-stimulating like different muscles, and because your muscles adapt to the moves that you're doing eventually, so like if you were to change it, then it's like an extra stimulus because your body has to adapt again to the new exercises that you're doing. So don't try to like continuously keep changing what you're doing because it's probably not going to be that effective.
I would, with clients, I'll update their program every 4 weeks, but by update it will still be like it will still be a similar thing. Do you know what I mean? It will just be slight changes because depending on the goal that they're working towards. But then if it gets you moving just to go into the gym and just do what you fancy on that day, then do that too. It depends who we're like. I'm trying to think if you're a beginner. Also, I really do believe that if you have a plan, it's easier as a beginner to stick to because you're not overwhelmed when you go in about what am I going to do today. If you know I'm going in, I'm going to find this spot in the gym and I'm going to do this exercise, I know how to do this, you're then not overwhelmed with like trying to figure other things out. So it does keep it.
No, I always have what I'm going to do at the gym before I go to the gym. Because then you also just waste time, and as you said, it's overwhelming. So I always have an idea of like, okay, this is what I'm going to do when I'm there. So that is good.
I think as well, my other point was just don't get too caught up in the sets and the reps, and you have to do what you want to. I always aim for. Again, it depends on your equipment, but however many reps you'll do it. So say you say, right, I'm going to do, just pick it, that's standard. I'm going to do 3 sets of 12 reps. That's okay. That's great. I always think though, by the time you get to the 12th rep, with whatever weight you're lifting, you should be able to, this is how I think, that you should be able to do 2 more reps at that weight, at that weight, but at a push. Like if I said to you, Elsa, you have to do 2 more reps, like you could do it, but you're going to have to dig deep. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't want to, so by the end, if you're getting to the 12 reps, you just squat in with and then you're like, oh, okay, done, cool, rest. No, you need to pick up a heavier weight. Or because sometimes you're in situations where you can't get that heavier weight, like you can't get the dumbbell that you want to get. So, okay, that's fine. So with that weight, what do you get to 15 or 16 before you start to be like, okay, I need to stop now. Like your muscles don't actually know, like your thigh isn't like there inside. Like, oh, 1, 2, 3, like, oh, now I need to stop. Like that, your muscles don't they don't give a shit. They don't know how many reps you're doing, how many sets they're doing. They just know, like, you know. So don't get too caught up in that detail. Again, there's a time and place for that. Of course, if you're more advanced, you can go into it. But we're talking about just getting people started lifting. Don't waste time with all those details. That will come in time. I would recommend, if you can have a trainer or someone to program your workouts, I would recommend it if you're a complete beginner. But there is so much information out there on Google. There's so many good people you can follow. Like, at the end of the day, if that's what gets people in the gyms, then just pull the shit out of that and get yourself in the gym and get moving.
I usually, for my workouts, with every exercise or superset that I usually do 3 to 4 sets, and then in the range of 8 to 12, depending on the weight, depending on the exercise. So say if it's like a single arm or a single leg, it's more towards the like 8, 10. And if it's a heavier weight, it's more towards 8, 10. But if it's something that I know I feel quite comfortable doing, like sometimes with squats, depending on the weight again, I could do 12, or core work, I can do more of. So I think maybe that's like a general guide, like 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. I don't know what you think about that.
I would say that. I would say maybe if you're starting, do a bit more than 8. I would go for I would aim for sort of 12 to 15 maybe if you're starting. Because also if you're doing 8 reps, you want to be lifting heavier so that you're like feeling it at the end.
I do that with heavier.
But you have like a lot of knowledge, I think, of the body, like especially from like your background and stuff, and you have lifted for a while. But I wouldn't want someone that's never done that to just go and pick up like the heaviest weight they can and do. I'm getting so tongue tied today. I feel like this. But I wouldn't want. But no, you are right. And don't let this. I know it's hard, but really try and have blinkers on and don't worry about what anyone else is doing or anyone else is lifting. Like, pick up the weight that's best for you and start. I would, in the beginning, especially if you're new, like, start lighter, because you can build your way up. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to be like that. Don't feel like you have to pick up this big weight because that guy over there's got a big weight. She could have been training for like 5-6 years, and she's not looking at you. She's worrying about herself as well. Like, so just scale it back and don't let that. I mean, I've done body weight squats for the majority of this year. Like, and I've had to fight my ego because she's been a little bitch telling me to like do a bit, like to pick up more weight. And I'm like, my staying self is like, you cannot just pull it back. Like, it's not back at the beginning. It's just a new phase, a new, like, just a different chapter where you're not lifting as heavy or so.
And I think as well, like, your expectations of how much progress you'll be making, like starting off as a newbie, it's actually quite, isn't it like a thing, like newbie gains, like you're probably going to grow
you'll notice
if you've never really trained before, but eventually, like, muscle gain takes a lot longer than you think it does, like a lot longer than fat loss, for example. So it really is like a slow process, which is why it's better to just enjoy what you're doing rather than waiting to see like changes, because they will come with time. And obviously, again, like, it's not linear. Like with fat loss, with anything, your progress isn't always going to be linear. Like the first week I had at the gym, I was so shocked with myself because I was like, oh my God, like I'm still at the same weights, if not some things are even easier. And I shocked myself. I was like, what is going on? The next week I came back to the gym and the same weights felt like hell. I was like, I cannot do this. And it was a bit confusing, but you shouldn't be like disheartened with yourself, because like maybe you had poor sleep or a rough like weekend, which my weekend wasn't that great, so maybe I didn't recover that well. It could be like like for females, your menstrual cycle will affect it, like so many things, but it shouldn't like dishearten you or demotivate you to be like, oh no, like why is the same weight so heavy? I actually have to go down rather than increase, because it's
it does. And also at the end of the day, like, who gives a shit what you're squatting?
Exactly.
I mean, they do. I've gone through times where like it does matter. Of course, it's all like relevant to what you're going through and you want to be, but just really try. There's so many other reasons why you should be resistance training. Like, yes, it's great to see the numbers go up, like lifting heavier, but there's so many more benefits to it than that, regardless. I think even if someone said to you like, you will never be able to lift heavier than what you can now, you would still train, because But yeah,
Very true.
final point is just about rest. I would recommend having a rest day in between if you can.
Yeah.
But sometimes again that doesn't work out with your schedule. Like I've had times where I've had to train 3 days on a row and then have a 2-day rest and then train for 1 day. Like, do you know what I mean? And then and sometimes it's then worked out. I've trained 4 days in a row because of how it's worked. It's not ideal, but again, it's better than nothing. But if you can do like 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, or on off, on off, on, or
I think like the more training that you do, or the more specific it gets, the more intense it gets, or if you do have a goal, nutrition becomes even more important. So like the general person who's just literally just training like 2 to 3 times a week, nutrition is important, things like that. But again, like if you're having 4 days in a row of training, your rest and recovery in between those training sessions is going to be really important. So making sure you are getting enough calories, your protein, sleep quality, like that will be extra important because you're not having the same amount of time to be able to rest and recover and prepare for your next session. So yeah. I don't know where I was going.
Yeah.
That made sense.
I think no, because you're going to do like because obviously we've covered like the training now, if you're going to the gym, like what we think, but you're so good at doing the best bits of the nutrition, like how can the nutrition support that? So if I was to come to you and I've like said, I've just started this program, this is what I'm doing, what should I change, or what should I be aware of my diet to support it? What would be your like your go-to?
So like if you are starting off training, again, for beginners, not if you're like trying to optimally reach some sort of goal, I'd say one of the first things is to don't get so caught up in like supplements, BCAAs, pre-workouts, because I feel like so many people, especially at uni, I remember at first year, maybe it was a boy thing, but I know that the supplement industry, like it's crazy, like how massive the market is, and like it's so easy to be like, oh, I need that, oh, I need that, oh, I need that. But really, you can get most of the nutrients that you need from your diet, from having a balanced, varied, loads of whole foods diet. So, and things like pre-workout, like caffeine boost, coffee does the job just fine. So like, you don't need to be spending money on these expensive products that don't really like, they're not going to massively improve your workouts, and you can get the same sort of benefits and nutrients from your diet anyway. And especially things like BCAAs, like they actually branch chain amino acids. They if we were to get into specifics of it, they include like some of the essential amino acids, which is what we need to build muscle, but we won't, like, they don't help us grow any more muscle than we would do from our diet. Like the supplement itself, it doesn't because like I won't get into specifics because it is a bit like sciencey, but basically you don't need to waste your money on these products.
You're like, basically don't buy them, guys. Go have a coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
or an energy drink. Have an energy drink.
Like just fine as well, like Monster. Like it doesn't have to be really fancy, and you don't need them to be able to work out. And especially if you're just starting out as well, like your sessions aren't going to be that intense where you need to be relying on these products either. And it's maybe somewhere down the line on the day where you are feeling a bit tired and you're like, oh no, I want to get a workout in, so you get some pre-workout. But like they're not essential, they're not necessary, even though so many people, the way it's marketed makes it look like, oh, I need to get that, like to work out, I need that. And you don't. So money saver hack. My next point, which we kind of touched on, which isn't really nutrition, but I think it's an important one, which is sleep. If you are training, especially on the days that you are training, like try get good quality sleep. I think for adults, the recommended is like 7 to 9 hours. And that just really helps with recovery from your workout, and then also helps with your performance in your actual sessions. Like a lot of the time people, I don't know, everyone feels tired a lot of the time. So they're like, oh, what can I be doing? Or relying on caffeine and things like that, which is fine if you enjoy caffeine. But if you're always relying on caffeine to be awake, it's not that, you just need more sleep, like something's going on with you, and that's like the root of it. So yeah, it's such a small little comment, but yeah, I feel it now.
But it's actually huge. It's huge.
Is.
Sleep it affects and even to the point I'd say it affects how you feel about yourself. When you're tired, you don't like, I don't think you like yourself as much when you're tired. You're more irritable, or you snap, or you take things more personally. And then, so if you are tired and then you're trying to train and then you're not lifting heavy, you're probably going to beat yourself up about it. But like, so overlit, like sleep is just, and it is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, like if you are training to see like some sort of results as well, like your sessions and recovery won't be as effective if your sleep isn't like good quality. So I would, and the more like serious your goals are, and the more into it that you want to get, like I would sleep would become even more of a priority. Another point is about protein. Protein is important, and if you were to work with a coach, they'd probably give you like a recommended range for how much you should be getting in a day. You want to spread out your protein feedings, but a lot of the time, like you see people just sipping on protein shakes during their workout or the whole day, which you don't actually need to do, and that's also ineffective, because with protein, you kind of need to be hitting a threshold to be able to like build muscle. And if you're sipping on something the whole day or your whole workout, it means you're getting very little amounts, but continuously, and you're never actually stimulating muscle protein synthesis. You're not like hitting that threshold because you're always just down here. Like with protein, really what you want to be doing is like getting it up, and then it'll naturally come back down and then hitting it again. Like you want to continuously hit this threshold to be able to like grow the muscle. So don't be grazing on protein bars all day, a protein shake throughout your whole workout. Like
so I'm just laughing because
like you can have like a good snack.
I know, I'm just laughing.
In between your meals, like I always have a protein, like a shake or a bar, but like it's the idea, like I don't know. Do you see people sometimes just like drinking their protein shake in the middle of their workout, like between every rep, every set?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to.
And I think what you said about hitting it, because I always aim for like a minimum of 25 grams per serving.
Yeah.
Like, but if I can, even like, to be honest, up to like 35, 40 in one, if I can, and then I won't for a while, and then so you want to, it's like, you know, when you get like a I don't know, you'll get like a protein bar, but it'll be like a flapjack protein. It's like 10 grams protein. You're like,
yeah, which is fine. Like you can just have a normal snack. Like like not everything has to be like high protein, because if you're having like substantial meals, balanced meals, and you're probably going to be hitting your protein, obviously you want to be a bit more aware of it. And if your goal isn't like, oh, I want to build muscle, you're literally just training, then you don't have to focus so much on getting loads of protein in. But again, as I said, that the more specific your goal is, the more intense your training is, protein will become a bit more of a priority, and meal timings and meal frequency comes into the picture. Like the main general point was, yes, protein is important, and maybe a hack could be like, if you are resistance training, try to get in a good like 25-gram serving of protein within an hour. But it's fine if you don't, because you can like say, if you had to go to work afterwards, just make sure your next meal does have a good serving of protein in, and you're like refueling, replenishing like your workout. But yeah, it's not something that protein. And also, I just did a post on this as well, actually, but you don't need to have like over the threshold of protein to like hit that stimulus, because you won't grow more muscle the more protein that you have. Like once you've reached that threshold, you literally don't need any more. Like it doesn't have to be, I need steak, chicken, this like I don't, maybe this is more like a gym bro thing, because I can't imagine like girls really doing this. But yeah, you don't need loads and loads and loads. All you need to do is hit that threshold and you'll be fine. So yeah.
But I do think that does seep into other stuff, because before I did any like got any qualifications or any training, like quite like a few years ago now. But I remember having like when I had my Fitness Pal, like my protein serving for one meal sometimes would be massive. And I remember thinking to myself though, oh, that must be so good because I've got so I do think it is good to say that, because some people don't realize that, and it's no one's fault. Like, if you're not interested in it, or you're not sure, like people aren't, they don't go into like these, you know, the little details. You just think, oh, they've said that's good, so I must have to have loads of it.
And like it just gets used elsewhere. Like it doesn't all get utilized for building muscle. Like it'll just be used as calories elsewhere. Like you'll just burn it off or something like that. And I think we shouldn't just focus on protein. Like your carbs and your fats are also going to be essential to help you like have optimal training sessions and recover from them. Like fats, I would say, is probably, depending on how intense your workouts are, your fats will be like the second most important macronutrient, because your healthy fats help with your hormones, and your hormones are essential to be able to grow that muscle. So don't have a very limited view on what's important. Like just focus on having a well-balanced diet with all the macronutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, because you can get it from your diet. As I said, you don't need to get in supplements, things like that. But yeah, I think they're my general nutrition.
There we go. That was tips with Elsa and tips with Maria. No, I think they're good tips. I think, hopefully that it will help someone. I think it would. I feel like if I had this in when I first started going to the gym, where I had someone just say, look, please don't worry about all this other stuff, just focus on A, B, and C, and that is it. I promise you, just be consistent with it, be patient. That is all, like, that is like where you're going to get the most out of focusing on those things rather than worrying about all these other little things. So that
was good. Oh, that helped me.
I think that helped me as well.
If anyone, obviously, as always, if you had any questions about what we've spoken about, message one of us. I have screen recorded this, so hopefully this works. But yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
But yeah,
bye.
Bye.